Hello everyone. Imagine walking into a classroom of 30 students. If you look closely, you don't just see 30 bodies occupying the desk, but you see 30 distinct theories, 30 different levels of emotional maturity, 30 unique vocabularies, and also 30 specific ways of processing the world. As a future educators, we are often handed a curriculum, a standard set of goals that every one of those 30 students must reach. But how do we bridge the gap between the standardized goal and those 30 very unique individuals? This brings us to the profound insight of Carroll and Tomlinson, who famously said, differentiated instruction is not a set of strategies, but a way of thinking about teaching and learning. For a long time, I misunderstood differentiation. I've thought it was a checklist. But it isn't about the tools we use, it is about the lens through which we view our student. It is a philosophy that rejects the one-size-fits-all model of schooling. It is an unwavering belief that fairness does not mean giving every student the same thing. It means giving every student what they need to succeed. In this presentation, I want to move beyond surface of definition. I want to explore how the way of thinking transform four critical components of the classroom, that is readiness, interest, learning style, and the learning environment. Before we dissect the component, we must understand the core philosophy. If we view differentiation only as a set of strategies, we treat it like a band-aid, which teach us a lesson. Nothing, some kids are failing, and then we apply a strategy to fix it. That is a reactive. But if you view differentiation as a way of thinking, we become proactive. We anticipate diversity before the lesson even begins. A differentiated teacher is more like a GPS system. The destination remains the same for everyone. We are all going to learn a specific concept. However, the GPS constantly analyzes the traffic, the roadblocks, and the speed of the car. It recalculates the route in a real time. It doesn't change the destination, but it adjusts the journey. As a future educator, this mindset shift changes my role. Now I'm no longer just a deliverer of content. I'm an architect of learning experiences. I have to accept that I cannot teach the curriculum until I teach the student. So the first one is readiness. This is crucial to distinguish readiness from ability. Ability implies a fixed level, to saying that a student is smart or slow. That is a dangerous mindset, a very, very dangerous mindset. Readiness, however, is a fluid. It's simple as where is the student right now in relation to the specific learning goal. A student might highly ready for a lesson on creative writing, but they have low readiness for a lesson or grammar structure. As a teacher, adopting this way of thinking, I cannot simply teach to the middle. If I teach to the middle, I lose the students who are struggling and I bore the students who are advanced. Imagine the concept of the zone of proximal development by Vygotsky. My job is to find the sweet spot for every student, where the work is just hard enough to be challenging, but not so hard because that is causes panic. Yeah, right. So practical application in my future classroom. Let's say I am teaching a lesson on analyzing novels theme. For students with lower readiness who might struggle with the text complexity, I might provide them a graphic organizer that scaffolds the connection between the specific character quotes and the theme. For students with advanced readiness who grasp the theme immediately, I will not just give them more work. That's like a punishment for them. Instead, I will ask them to compare how the theme is treated in this novel versus a modern news article. The goal is the same. Understanding the theme, but the complexity of the task matches their readiness. The next component is interest. If readiness is about can they do it, interest is about do they want to do it. Tomlinson's mindset requires us to see students as people with passions, hobbies, and curiosities outside of school. When we tap into a student interest, we are not just making learning fun, but we are hacking their motivation. We are also hacking their motivation. Yeah. So neuroscience tell us that when a student is interested, their brain releases dopamine, which improve their memory and persistence. A teacher who views differentiation as a strategy might say, you can write about sport or music. A teacher who views it as the way of thinking, they might say, how can I link this curriculum to the work? My student can actually live in it. So let's look at a math of basic lesson regarding trajectory and angles. For athlete, we analyze the art of basketball shot. For the gamer, we look at the coding physics in game like Angry Birds, maybe anything, any game, right? Right now on the phone. For the artist, we look into the perspective of drawing, right? So as a future educator, I plan to use interest inventories at the start of the year. I need to know what they love, so I can use it as a hook. Right? So if a student love anime and I need to cheat a narrative structure, I'm going to use an anime storyline to explain the concept of climax and resolution. I'm validating their identity while teaching the context. Moving on the third component, learning styles, or is a more known nowadays like known as learning profiles. This includes how students process information visually, auditory, and kinesthetically. But it also includes their culture, their gender, and their preference for working alone or in the groups. Thinking about this deeply requires us to let go our own preferred teaching style. I personally learn best by reading and writing. The dangerous threat for me as a teacher is to teach the way I learn, because every student is different, right? So differentiation requires me to step outside my comfort zone to accommodate theirs. Isn't about the labeling a student as just a visual learner and only ever giving them pictures like that. It is about providing variety so that every student gets a turn at learning in their strongest modality, and every student get their practice in their weaker one. So if I'm assessing student on their understanding of the water cycle, why must assessment always be written test? So a student with a visual preference might be a working model or draw a detailed diagram. While student with a linguistic preference, I might write a creative story from the perspective of a water droplet. And last, maybe a student with the social preference might interview a local meteorologist or present a debate on water conservation. The strategy is the choice board. The way of thinking is the belief that a written test is not the only valid evidence of knowledge. So finally, we must discuss the learning environment. This is the foundation upon which the other three stand. You can have the best readiness assessment and the most interesting project, but if the environment is toxic, the differentiation is gonna fail for sure. Differentiation is a risk for students. We are asking them to work on at their own level, which often means that they are doing something different than their neighbor, like that. So in a traditional fixed mindset classroom, this creates anxiety. Why is she doing the easy work? Why I do the more hard work, like that? So the way of thinking regarding the environment means cultivating a culture where differences are celebrated, not judged. It is creating a physical and emotional space where it's safe to struggle and safe to succeed. As a future educator, this changes how I set up my room. Physically, I won't have rows of desk frames in front. I need to flexible seating, quite corner of solitary learners, and collaboration tables for group workers, and standing desk for those who need to move. Emotionally, I must maybe normalize the idea of fair isn't equal. I will explicitly teach my student that we all need different things to thrive. Just like a cactus, they need different care than a fern. If I give them both the same amount of water, one will die. My classroom must be a community where students are a team, but we play a different position. To conclude, let's revisit Carroll and Tomlinson's word one last time. Differentiation instruction is not a set of strategies but the way of thinking. It is a shift from asking, did I teach the curriculum, to asking, did the student learn what I teach? As I step into my career as an educator, I know this will be very challenging. It is easier to print one worksheet, and it's easier to lecture from the front. But is it easy for the children or the student to understand it? By constantly assessing readiness, engaging interest, respecting learning profiles, and cultivating a supportive learning environment, I'm not just teaching a subject, I'm teaching human beings. I'm committing to a way of thinking that say, I see you, I know you, and I will do whatever it takes to help you grow. So that's all. Thank you. Bye bye.